You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
We're trotting out and peddling people's racist, sexist, bigoted stereotypes.
And their colleagues have distorted the facts.
Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the best I say and put them on display.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Hunter Biden is not above the law. We want to send him to the DOJ, and we want to trust the DOJ to do their job.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, that I can go campaign on and say we did.
The bill, as I say, codifies one definition of anti-Semitism. A definition that the author says shouldn't be codified.
RICO is not a crime.
They want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me.
Leadership of the plans to get them back into chambers. That would have been call number 3 with Speaker Pelosi.
You didn't have one call, you didn't have 2 calls, you had 3 calls. So Speaker Pelosi's comments that she didn't speak to were inaccurate.
That is correct, sir.
Welcome to the Off-Label Podcast, your daily dose of sanity in an insane world. Ladies and gentlemen, we're covering this continuation from last night here. It looks like we do have some pictures of the Iranian attack. We also have the press conference with Pete Hegseth and what our politicians are saying. We got some pictures of everything going on with that. We got J.D. Vance chiming in on it. And we're going to go ahead and throw it to the Iranian foreign minister at the end of this, just to see what everybody else is saying. Ladies and gentlemen, I still don't know if we've wiped our ass of this yet or not, but let's go ahead and get started.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
When it comes to negotiating with the terrorist government of Iran, Trump's all over the lot. One day he sounds tough, the next day he's backing off. And now, all of a sudden, we find out that Witkoff and Rubio are negotiating a secret side deal with Iran. What kind of bull is this? They're going to sound tough in public and then have a side deal that lets Iran get away with everything? That's outrageous. We need to make that side deal public. Any side deal should be before Congress and, most importantly, the American people. If Taco Trump is already folding, the American public should know about it. No side deals.
That aged fucking horribly, did it not?
Aged like fucking cottage cheese.
Did y'all notice how many jump cuts was in that, though?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. In the middle of sentences, you were doing jump cuts? What up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Hi,
well,
guys.
today, I guess. We are doing this during the daytime at this point.
Yeah.
We got Ken with us, Carolyn, Louie, and my wife's over there, Muffin Rando. We got Mom's Mysteries. We got Amanda, Third Rail. Louis on the Rumble side too. And didn't Jennifer pop in? No, not yet.
Yet.
All right, we got more coming on. This is a different time zone than we normally do, so people are going to be busy. Y'all didn't count on this one today, but here we are. Because we did count on it, but we wanted to do it kind of early, get it out the way. I still got things I need to do for the channel after this shit. So, yeah. It'll be easier to get it out the way real quick.
I'm getting yelled at to let a man to sleep. So,
yeah. But, I'll tell you what, though. Let's take it back to yesterday real quick. And let's go to the president having his little speech, about 5 minutes long. But this happened yesterday after the strikes were reported.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely...
You can't hear. Oh, yeah, that's right. I never switched it back over, did I?
Yeah.
No, I did not. Change stream. My bad.
And totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Caine, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Caine, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, before we get into his comments and everything, we do have these pictures here Okay. These are where the bunker busters landed. I was wrong, dude. We are incredibly fucking accurate. Dude, these are like within 20 feet of each other or so.
Jesus.
God
And there's
damn.
all 6. There's 1, 2, 3, and then the other side is the 1, 2, 3.
3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. Right there. See, you just pelted that 3 right there. And then you pelted that side. Holy shit. See, yeah, these were the tunnels that they were talking about. That's the tunnel that kind of goes up to this area. And they cut it off here. Just like there's an exit that probably runs out to this facility. Yeah, it comes out right here.
Well, here's the thing. So you have a 30-ton. You have 6 30-ton bombs. Why wouldn't you go for the entrance and the exit? Because that'd be the easiest place for it to get through.
Right.
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 Why would you do it? Because like Sean was saying, like, you don't know what the mountain's made of, so you don't know if you can get straight directly to where it is. So I'm
pretty sure they actually have geological scans of what that mountain is. I guarantee you they went that in depth to see.
But here's the thing. Well, like I said, you do the opening and the closing, and boom, straight through.
Granted, there are some other ones that are probably in there as well to let people in and out. But like I was saying, though, if you got the, they got the entrance and exit for materials, because on June 19th through the 20th, satellite images showed a dozen cargo trucks as well as bulldozers arriving from Fordow nuclear facility in Iran. This comes from Cinema Shogun, by the way. They already moved most of the important materials before the attack. Yesterday's strikes were for nothing. And now the U.S. will have to attack again once they figure out the new location of the materials that were transported. This is so much for a one-time strike. Eventually, probably. But I mean, this is where the bulk of their production and enrichment was coming from. So, also a lot of wasted-ass fucking money sitting in a mountain, too. But yeah, you see these tunnels starting to go in and out here?
Uh-huh.
You got them here, here. This one goes to this facility. Whatever that facility is. And then they're building an X on the road for more shit. And all these trucks were leaving the facility. So yeah, they probably did get the shit out. Not gonna lie. But just to show you from the impact, that was before. That was after. See that shit?
Go back to the before.
The wind blew all that smoke and dust and shit down the fucking mountain.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that was actually successful, though. I mean, you do not see a lot of damage on the surface. It didn't blow out the side of the mountain. It didn't do anything. It just went down there and blew the entrances and exits of this facility.
Just a plot of fucking Top Gun Maverick.
I mean, it kind of is. But yeah, this is one that I wanted to see too. Check this out, though. From one side of the cliff, it goes in. You can see those 3 marks, right?
Yeah.
You can see the 3 marks here. This is what I wanted to see. If there was actually something down there, the ground would sink in.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. Right here in this one. So there was something there. They collapsed the fucking tunnel. And this one is probably what collapsed this one down here. That was the one to get out.
I wonder what they got out.
Probably everything, dude. You knew that was coming.
You think so? Where do you? I'm just trying to think. Like, okay, you have this uranium, right? And you have it to you're using it to make a nuclear bomb.
Right.
You're in the middle of making it. Like how do you stop and gather that shit and just take it somewhere else? Like how
it's a slow.
I don't know. I think I've watched too many Marvel movies.
Yes.
Where
it's a
I'm just
slow process to it. When I was in the military, or well, not in the military, but in the military industrial complex, when I was making shit for them as a private contractor, usually there could be things that would take months because of waiting time. We'd build up to the point and then hold off until we had to wait for another part to come up, and then we could bring it all back out, build up to another point, and then hold off until something else. I mean, you can build it up to certain levels and then just store it away until you can make it, keep building it up more. So there are points where you could have probably had all this stored away because you were waiting on something easily accessible, easily transportable. Get it out of there and get going. It's called bugging out. Right. It was probably already stored away because they weren't working on it constantly to build this damn thing. If that were true, they would have had it built already. I don't know, though. I could say that might have been a successful hit on the bunker.
Go to my screen real quick, just for a second.
Let's see. Live Davy screen.
Iran has elected to receive.
I don't know, though. I don't know. Could we have created a monster in this?
To be honest with you, it's not. It's not good. It's not good, but the other way around, we allow them.
What up, Lauren? How you doing, Steve?
Like, we don't know what other facilities they have. Well, we don't know. They know what other facilities they have, but we don't know what other facilities they have that were probably as big as this. I think this was the biggest facility they had. That's why, they went for this one. But
they still have the capability. Who would put all their eggs in one basket like that, especially when you got billions flooding into your country from the person that's supposed to be stopping you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got more than this. I bet you this was just their more advanced one. The most advanced one. The most capable. But I'm pretty sure they've got more.
U.S. military keeps things mobile so they can change locations easily. I remember having to bug out in Germany. One of MU first. One of my first memories because I was worried we couldn't talk.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Keep going. I forgot to set up the ads shit. I just saw it pass through on my phone here. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just reading Amanda's comment.
Oh.
Because I remember a bug out in Germany, one of my first memories, because I was worried we couldn't take our cats with us.
Insert mid rolls. Annually. See, yeah. That's just fucking around, dude.
Well, I don't listen. I
automatically changing back to just that whatever frequency they want with that.
Here's the thing that I worry about. Remember all those middle-aged men coming from that region of the world?
Yeah.
Coming through Mexico that they were interviewing?
Yep.
All of a sudden now are here. I don't know if it has anything to do with it. But this happened today in Michigan.
Yeah. We gotta talk about this real quick.
We don't. A car smashed into a church, and then am I live?
Yep.
A car smashed into a church, and then listen to the rapid fire.
A chorale in every day, and our songs help do that, and so did our games. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have. That doesn't mean we didn't have time for Bible stories, science experiments, snacks, and learning important Bible verses that the kids could take with them. We hope that after the service you'll stay and move around the foyer and let the kids tell you about the great treats we had this week, and have some too. Thank you.
That's gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
That's an automatic weapon being fired in the background.
Mm-hmm.
There's no word on who it is. There's no word on what it just happened this morning. So it's still being investigated. The guy was taken out by a security agent, at the church. But yeah, listen to it really quickly. Again.
A chorale in every day, and our songs help do that, and so did our games. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have. That doesn't mean we didn't have time for Bible stories, science experiments, snacks, and learning important Bible verses that the kids could take with them. We hope that after the service you'll stay and move around the foyer and let the kids tell you about the great treats we had this week, and have some too. Thank you. Oh. Come on, everybody to the back. Please, everybody come to the back. Come to the back. John, they gotta come. They gotta come.
Yeah,
so
but from what it does show that they all got out from that camera angle. There was nothing that YouTube can rip that down for. There was no violence in that whatsoever, but that was automatic fire.
Yeah. Terrifying footage from inside a church in Wayne, Michigan. The moment a man rammed his car inside, then opened fire before being shot by a security guard. So we don't know.
We'll find out more and present it tomorrow.
Initial reports and witnesses reported that a suspect fired a machine gun. However, reports are circulating that a gunman used a rifle. This is a developing story. Please use caution when reading news information, or official reports are out.
Wayne, Michigan reveals that the suspected shooter was shot and killed by a security guard. The only innocent person believed to be shot is an additional security guard who was shot in the leg, Cross Point Church officials say. Huh.
First of all, how'd they get a machine gun, an automatic? Because that wasn't that was not semi-automatic with a bump stock.
No.
That was not semi-auto. That was just rapid fire.
Yeah. That wasn't, there was no longer any more delay than immediate hammer drop on the primer. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and keep looking out for that one right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the news conference here. Ow! Fuck my ear. Please tell me your audio is better than this.
Success. The order we received from our...
Nope. You motherfuckers. Alright, fine.
The one down.
Wait a minute.
Go back.
In the region, What I will
Live
say is
update.
we're being
Is there a brace for missile attack?
and
Yeah,
not
we missed it.
reactive,
Now
and
go
being
to,
very thoughtful about ensuring
so-
that we do all that we can to protect
Huh?
our forces out there.
And I would just say,
Go down a little.
I want to find one with better fucking
Right there.
sound.
There's one right there. You're on it.
Yeah, right side broadcasting. Maybe they have better audio on this one. I mean, that was fucking horrible. I hate these people. Here we go. Yeah.
well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Here we go.
Last night, on President Trump's orders, U.S. Central Command conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in
What
Iran.
up, Jennifer?
Fordow,
How you doing, Lauren?
Natanz, and
Even though-
Esfahan, in order to destroy or severely degrade
Marlene.
Iran's nuclear program.
Julie
and as
Odding's
the
in
chairman
the
of the
house.
Joint Chiefs will
I don't know,
demonstrate,
Jonathan.
it was an incredible and overwhelming success. The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon.
True.
Full stop. Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump. The operation President Trump planned was bold and it was brilliant, showing the world that American deterrence is back. When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even close. Just like Soleimani found out in the first term, Iran found out when POTUS says 60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise, that nuclear program, that nuclear capability will not exist. He meant it. This is not the previous administration. The President Trump said no nukes. He seeks peace, and Iran should take that path. He sent out a truth last night saying this: any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Signed, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Iran would be smart to heed those words. He's said it before, and he means it. I want to give recognition to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Joint Staff, General Eric Kurilla at CENTCOM.
I agree, Lauren.
Who did a phenomenal job, he and his staff, all of CENTCOM. Policy across the board. This was a joint effort, and across the Pentagon effort. I want to recognize the pilots who flew those bombers, who flew those fighters, who flew those refuelers.
We're sitting there
Warriors.
for 15 fucking hours.
I want to recognize the sailors on those destroyers, in those subs, on those carriers, warriors, all of them. I want to recognize our soldiers doing air defense, base defense, QRF, warriors, all of them. Every American involved in this operation performed flawlessly. And I want to give recognition to our allies in Israel as well. This is a plan that took months and weeks of positioning and preparation so that we could be ready when the President of the United States called. It took a great deal of precision. It involved misdirection and the highest of operational security. Our B-2s went in and out of downtown Tehran, not Tehran, excuse me, of these nuclear sites, in and out and back without the world knowing at all. In that way, it was historic. a strike that included the longest B-2 Spirit bomber mission since 2001 and the first operational employment of the MOP, a massive ordnance penetrator. The mission demonstrated to the world the level of joint and allied integration that speak to the strength of our alliance and our joint forces. As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war, but let me be clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners, or our interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the President of the United States and know that he means it, every word. I want to give congratulations to our Commander-in-Chief. It was an honor to watch him lead last night and throughout, and to our great American warriors on this successful operation. God bless our troops. God bless America. And we give glory to God for his providence and continue to ask for his protection. I turn it over now to the chairman for specifics.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for recognizing.
BA, that was the whole point. We were getting rid of leakers. That was the Telegram story and all that other shit. Nobody knew this was coming. The only thing he said is, Trump's going to take 2 weeks before they make a decision. And then 2 fucking days later, this happens? Nobody leaked shit this time. I'm impressed.
Recognizing all of our folks out there doing our nation's work, and nice to see everybody on this early Sunday morning. Last night, on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise strike against 3 Iranian nuclear facilities.
We knew he approved
This
the
was
tech.
a complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the highest standards of the United States Armed Forces. This operation was designed to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains and theaters with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed and precision at the time and place of our nation's choosing. This was a highly classified mission with very few people in Washington knowing the timing or nature of this plan. I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details. At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of the plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa.
We were talking about it.
The package comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command Area of Responsibility launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Esfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace, the U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and 5th generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats. The strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command. As the strike package approached Fordow and Natanz, The U.S. protection package employed high-speed suppression weapons to ensure safe passage of the strike package, with fighter assets employing preemptive suppressing fires against any potential Iranian surface-to-air threats. We are currently unaware of any shots fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. At approximately...
Dude, you understand what that means, right?
What?
Not Israel, but Iran has always had some badass air defenses. We sent Tomahawk missiles in to take out their first defense line, right? With the air defense, surface to air defense. Then we had our fighters go out there and push further ahead and sweep around to make sure nobody was coming. The bombers got in, dropped their shit, and everybody got out. And they didn't fire a fucking single shot at us.
Highway to the danger zone.
Not a single fucking shot. I mean, maybe that was just like a preview of how we could do it, and they just never paid attention. But goddamn.
6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:10 a.m. Iran time. The lead B-2 dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordow. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14 MOPs dropped against 2 nuclear target areas. All 3 Iranian nuclear infrastructure targets were struck between 6:40 p.m. and 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's a
25 fucking minute window to react. From 6:40 to 7:05 is when everybody started to pull the fuck out. 25-minute window to react.
About 2:10 in the morning local time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Esfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation. Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out.
Damn.
Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us.
Damn.
Throughout the mission, we retained the element of surprise. In total, U.S. forces employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included, as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, marking the first ever operational use of this weapon. I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of 4th and 5th generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. As the Secretary said, this was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history
aircraft.
and the second longest B-2 mission ever flown, exceeded only...
These motherfuckers sat in that goddamn cockpit from the time they took off over here, refueled in the air, dropped them motherfuckers, and then flew all the way the fuck back.
By those in the days following 9/11.
There was no rest point.
Well prior to the strike, General Kurilla elevated force protection measures across the region, especially in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. Our forces remain on high alert and are fully postured to respond to any Iranian retaliation or proxy attacks, which would be an incredibly poor choice. We will defend ourselves. The safety of our service members and civilians remains our highest priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United States military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military. As the President clearly said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the President and the Secretary in being incredibly proud of the air crews, naval forces, cyber operators, planners, and support teams, and commanders who made this mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the President, the Secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus on this. As we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed. I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts. Our joint force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
He's right. Nobody else could have done that.
Nope.
Not a single shot fired at us. And we supposedly dropped 14 of them motherfuckers over 3 different fucking targets. And not a single shot was fired at us.
Mind you, from Missouri to Iran is 13 hours. And then they had to turn around. So that's a 26-hour mission for those B-2 bombers.
There's no way I could do that.
How hard do you think they were when they dropped those bombs?
After 15 fucking hours of flight time in that whole situation, 12, 15, whatever it is.
13 hours of flight time, and to be that fucking precise?
I'll just say it. I was wrong. All right, that guy's a badass.
I knew, listen,
theoretical technology was actually proven to be true. All these bunkers and everything that we're upgrading here, yes, we are the only ones that have the proven technology to do this shit now, but that's already been a thing. We've already known how this works.
I'm still, I'm still waiting on, because we haven't heard anything from China or Russia. Everybody's saying China, well, Sean was saying China and Russia are going to get involved. Haven't heard a word from either of them. Haven't heard a word from Xi. Haven't heard a word from Putin.
Not verbally, but there have been reports, and I don't know about how reports are going to play into the whole thing, you know, but I will say this. We dropped the sun on fucking Japan twice, and they stopped bullshit. We dropped hell on Iran. Are they going to stop their bullshit?
C-39.
These motherfuckers got the sun dropped on them, dug under the ground, and we still fucked them up.
We dropped 180 tons on them.
Yeah.
How much is it?
Oh, I'm sure China's taking notes. I'm sure China is investigating the fuck out of this right now.
We will take a few questions, Phil.
Me?
Yeah.
So, is regime change off the table, Mr. Secretary? And to the chairman, you said the battle damage assessment is still ongoing, but do you believe that some nuclear capability in Iran remains?
This mission was not and has not been about regime change.
If you're going to do that, look for Fat Man.
The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
Thanks for your question. I think BDA is
10,800 pounds.
10,800 pounds.
5.4 tons. Let's bring it to Davy's screen. 5.4 tons. But then again, Fat Man was nuclear. This was not. That was meant to burst above the ground. This is meant to go below it. So you didn't need that weight at terminal velocity to dig into the ground before exploding.
Yeah.
Either that or it just hits the ground and just stands there like you would see in a movie, and you just look at it and read, hey, this is so-and-so built this missile. Cool. Boom. You know?
So this hit the ground and exploded upwards. These dug into the ground and blew inward.
Right.
But 10,000 pounds. 5.4 tons.
What up, Seagull?
One of the Moabs was 30 tons.
Yeah.
We dropped more than the fucking sun on that in there.
Like I said, we dropped hell on earth. I mean, that's the only way you can put it. You're underground. We go in there and we still fuck you up with hellfire and brimstone. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. Well, not brimstone, because that's not really sulfuric or nuclear. So just hellfire. It's kind of fucked up. Yeah.
Is still pending, and it would be way too early for me to comment on what may or may not still be there. But thanks for the question.
Green. No, behind you.
My bad, Lauren.
Tell me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I would just say, having the opportunity to witness his leadership, he was fully committed to the peace process. Wanted a negotiated outcome. Gave Iran every single opportunity, and unfortunately was met by stonewalling.
Lauren, that's what we were actually saying. The weight of them.
Plenty of time to continue to come to the table and give up enrichment.
These bombs were 10 times or 3 times the amount.
I won't say the particular moment. There was certainly a moment in time where he realized that it had to be a certain action taken in order to minimize the threat to us and our troops. Yeah.
General, you say that General Kurilla increased force protection in Iraq, Syria, and Gulf, in those areas. Were they given any advance warning the attacks were coming? And also, Mr. Secretary, when were congressional leaders notified? How long before the attacks took place?
Sure. To your first question, the risk has clearly been rising over the last few weeks in the region. Based on that, and not a particular awareness of this operation.
I want to see. You can't see it because it's under ours. But their scroller says that Navy hit their annual recruiting goal 3 months early under Trump's leadership. The fucking Navy
we've made smart decisions to minimize the risk.
Everybody's
of US
a steaming
forces in the region.
They were given no advance warning.
No, sir.
And congressional.
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act.
After the attacks, they were notified.
They were immediately thereafter. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary. 2 quick questions. Do you believe you completely destroyed Iranian nuclear program? And how about Iranian ballistic missiles? Your ally as Israel always saying that is biggest threat. And second question is very important. What will be your next step if Iran or militias under Iranian influence in the region attack U.S. interests or allies in the region?
And you can chime in on this too, Mr. Chairman. The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect, which means especially in Fordo, which was the primary target here, we believe we achieved destruction of capabilities there. Ultimately, wherever it may be, whether it's in Iraq or Syria or bases in the Gulf, as the president said, it would be as the chairman said, it would be a very bad idea for Iran or its proxies to attempt to attack American forces. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Regarding retaliations, Iran and North Korea are cooperating on nuclear and missile development. Do you think there is a possibility that Iran, North Korea, and the other forces, such as China, will join forces to retaliate against the United States?
Well, unfortunately, because of the policies under the previous administration, we drove those countries together, and ultimately that creates a challenging environment. For this particular operation, the focus is on Iran and Iranian nuclear capabilities. That's our focus here, is to not just say that they can't have, but President Trump has said from over 20 years, frankly, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And ultimately, he decided this is the moment, given their stonewalling, when direct military action had to be taken to prevent that from happening. Yes.
Thank you very much. General Caine, I understand OPSEC, I respect OPSEC. Can you say at all what security procedures are being taken to protect U.S. troops in Iraq and elsewhere in the Middle East? And Secretary Hegseth, as a global war on terrorism veteran, what do you say to veterans who may be concerned the U.S. is getting into another open-ended war in the Middle East over weapons of mass destruction?
Thanks, sir, for the question. I won't comment on what force protection measures are being taken in the region. What I will say is we're being proactive and not reactive, and being very thoughtful about ensuring that we do all that we can to protect our forces out there.
And I would just say, as the President has directed and made clear, this is most certainly not open-ended. It doesn't mean it limits our ability to respond. We will respond if necessary. The most powerful military in the world is postured and prepared to defend our people. But what the President gave us, as I said, was a focused, powerful, and clear mission on the destruction of Iranian nuclear capabilities. Those were the targets. That's what was struck. That's what was overwhelming. That's what was overwhelming. That's what the Iranian regime needs to understand, as the President put out last night. He wants peace. There needs to be a negotiated settlement here. We ultimately demonstrated that Iran cannot have a nuclear capability. That is a very clear mission set on this operation. Yes, hold on. Yes, right there.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Question for the Secretary and the Chairman. How was this strike coordinated with the Israelis on a strategic level, militarily, and on a tactical level? Was there any direct Israeli military participation in this operation?
Well, I would say certainly Israel had an incredible military success, especially at the beginning and ongoing, in degrading Iranian capabilities.
Kevin G., how you doing?
Iranian launchers, MRBMs. It's been incredible to watch what our ally Israel has been able to do. And there certainly have been conversations. I mean, General Kurilla at CENTCOM has worked closely in the defense of Israel for many years. And part of this operation was the defense of Israel and the ongoing defense of Israel. But as it pertains to this strike, this was U.S. operated and U.S. led.
We took advantage of some of the preparatory work that's been done over the past week and a half in terms of axis of approach. I won't get into the particulars, but as the Secretary said, it was a U.S. strike. We made sure we were not in the same piece of airspace and sky. Aside from that, that was the extent of it.
We'll take a couple more. Yeah, right there.
Question to the Secretary first. Are you concerned whatsoever now about the reaction from U.S. allies given the strike, particularly those in the Gulf? And to the Chairman, if I may, I understand you don't...
Shouldn't our allies be grateful that we did it instead of them?
I want to speak to specific assets and force protection measures, but do you anticipate at least having to bring in any further assets from other theaters to aid in force protection over the coming days?
We certainly understand the challenges of allies in the region, and we have been respectful and in working in collaboration with them as it pertains to basing and sensitivities there. Ultimately, they've got a lot of assets and people in those locations also where American troops are co-located. So that's a consideration of ours. We've been in close consultation with them, and we appreciate the support that we have got.
Thanks for the question on sort of the global picture. And as you know, that's one of my jobs, is to look globally at the entire range of challenges. We are always carefully considering our force posture around the world and then offering options to the Secretary and to the president. I won't comment
Thank you,
on any
RP.
future things,
Have a
but
good
the
stream, bro.
American people should know that we carefully consider those moves around the world.
Take it easy,
and
Lauren.
try to modulate as needed our force structure in
Later,
the
RP.
region.
Absolutely.
Later, Lauren.
Thank you. What communications
Hold on
are
for a
being
sec,
sent to
Rich.
the Iranian?
What we got?
My page. For everybody talking about how this just came out of fucking nowhere. This just came out of nowhere. March 4th, 2025. Putin agrees to help broker talks between Trump and Iran, reports. Russia has agreed to help President Donald Trump work with Iran over its nuclear program, Bloomberg reports. Citing people familiar with the situation, Bloomberg stated Trump expressed an interest to work with Iran on both nuclear matters and to raise support for anti-U.S. proxies in the Middle East during a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin last month. Trump administration officials also discussed communicating with Iran in a meeting with their Russian counterparts at a summit in Saudi Arabia last month. There is no response to the report from the White House. Newsweek has contacted the State Department. Kremlin spokesman told Bloomberg that the U.S. and Iran should negotiate, that Moscow is ready to do everything in its power to achieve this. Iran officials told the Telegraph that Tehran was considering the request from Putin. They tried. March 4th, they tried to talk about this.
You know what's fucked up? That was in our ticker. Because I had literally just like reworded the headline.
Yeah.
But that was in our ticker in an episode.
They tried. March 4th. March 4th, they tried to talk about this shit. So people going, oh, it just came out of nowhere. No, it fucking didn't. No, it fucking didn't. They've been trying to have a negotiations on the nuclear program at least since March 4th.
Right.
So this shit didn't just, oh, well, you know, Trump decided out of nowhere he was going to, no. April, May, June, 3 months. 3 fucking months. And nothing.
Right.
So Trump said, go fuck yourself.
No, it's like the strongly worded letter shit. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter out. And no, fuck that. Just do something. And something was done.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, have we wiped our ass of this yet? I like deep inside, I want to say no, brother.
What?
I want to say no because this is just like the Afghanistan fucking pullout where we created our own Desert Storm. I think we just created our own Operation Iranian Freedom. You know, the Operation Iraqi Freedom because of the weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Maybe these actually really do exist, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah, but the difference is Operation Iraq with Afghanistan. I don't think there was any attempts to talk about it. They just went. They have weapons of mass destruction, and we went in. That was it.
Yeah, but we told them 3 months in advance where we were going to go, what we were going to look for, and everything like that too. So this one, it just fucking give me 2 weeks. I'll think about it, and then in a day and a half, 2 days later, we're dropping bombs. You know?
Yeah, but like I said, this one they wanted to come. He wanted to come to the table and have a talk about it. I don't with Operation with Afghanistan. They just.
I mean, he did give them 60 days, and on the 61st day, Israel said, "Fuck it, I'm going in."
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is different. I feel that they tried to have a calmer head about it, and Iran was just like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
And Trump was just like, all right, here's my dick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
this
is actually going to start something here because this comes from JD Vance. This is actually coming from Mr. Common Sense over here on X. J.D. Vance warns Iran, if the Iranians attack us, they're going to be met with overwhelming force. We did not attack the nation of Iran. We did not attack any civilian target.
What we've said to the Iranians is we do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. But we want peace in the context of them not having a nuclear weapons program. And that's exactly what the president accomplished last night. I really think there are two big questions for the Iranians here. Are they going to attack American troops, or are they going to continue with their nuclear weapons program? And if they leave American troops out of it and they decide to give up their nuclear weapons program once and for all, then I think the president has been very clear. We can have a good relationship with the Iranians. We can have a peaceful situation in that region of the world. We have to step back a little bit, Kristen, and remind ourselves that we negotiated aggressively with the Iranians to try to find a peaceful settlement to this conflict. It was only when the president decided that the Iranians were not negotiating in good faith that he took this action.
Yeah.
He didn't take it lightly, but I actually think it provides an opportunity to reset this relationship, reset these negotiations, and get us in a place where Iran can decide not to be a threat to its neighbors, not to be a threat to the United States. And if they're willing to do that, the United States is all ears.
I don't see it working, though. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. We've always been in this area. We've always had a presence here. We've always been at war for as long as I can fucking remember some type of war with these same countries. But that is a strong warning just to say overwhelming fucking force. Yeah, I get it. They didn't get a shot off at us, but if they want to keep fucking around, that's like saying we are ready to go to war if we need to. But not for nothing, this was actually created by Biden and Obama. They funded this shit.
Yep.
They funded it. Trump tried to stop it when he knew what was going on. And then all of a sudden, Biden took office and billions upon billions of dollars started flooding back into Iran. And lo and behold, hey, the attack on Israel happens. We already know Iran is supporting these terrorist organizations with money and shit like that. Come on, man. There's a lot of, not direct ties, but a lot of evidence showing that this actually was funded by the Israelis, or not Israelis, the Iranians for these attacks. This is our fault. Not gonna lie.
This is our money.
Yeah.
This is our tax dollars that we gave to them.
But before we get to the Iranian, you got some of the news clippings and everything up, right?
Yeah, I got some of the, well, I got a bunch of the statements. I also got some news clips here. Here's Tom Cotton. It says, Tom Cotton, my message to the Supreme Leader is look at the lessons of history. Don't tempt fate. Do not target Americans. Heed Donald Trump's warning.
And if Iran retaliates, should the United States target the Supreme Leader?
I won't rule any single target in or out, but I'll say that President Trump was very clear in his warning last night to Iran that last night will look like child's play if they target Americans. Clearly, President Trump means business. The Ayatollahs understand that now. He was not bluffing. He does not bluff. And there are still numerous targets that Iran holds very dear. They should not target Americans.
But it sounds like what you're saying, and frankly what the president said last night, is that we may be on the beginning of this, not the end of it.
Well, that's really up to Iran at this point.
But given Iran's track record, I mean, it's hard to imagine they're suddenly going to come out and say, okay.
In 2020, President Trump killed Iran's terrorist mastermind, Qasem Soleimani.
Yeah.
Iran did target one of our bases, but frankly, they telegraphed what they were going to do, and it led to minor concussive injuries. No Americans were killed. Likewise, in the 1980s, when Iran was targeting naval ships in the Persian Gulf, Ronald Reagan sank half of their navy. That did not lead to war. It led to peace. Not just with their targeting of Americans, but actually the 8-year Iran-Iraq war. So my message to the Supreme Leader is look at the lessons of history. Do not tempt fate. Do not target Americans. Heed Donald Trump's warning.
Yeah, it sounds like we're ready for it. It sounds like the beating of the war drums.
And that we end up seeing a back and forth and war moving forward.
This is not an escalation. This is a
Bring it full
de-escalation.
screen.
Well, Trump promised escalation.
This is not
Trump promised
First,
escalation.
every
Iranian.
Bunker busting bombs is not an escalation.
Because well, she said President Trump promised us peace. I ask you, can we have peace if Iran has a nuclear weapon?
Well, we had a deal, and
you're litigating the past.
I'm not litigating the past.
Can we have peace if they have a nuclear weapon?
We had a deal. He's trying to get
And they were
back into
violating
that deal. And he withdrew from that.
They were violating
and not only that, now he's trying to have another deal.
Bribery and appeasement.
And
How are the fuck are these people defending Iran? How the fuck are these people defending the countries that were screaming death to America?
Because everything Orange Man has to do is bad. No matter what. Doesn't matter. Everything. We have to defend them. We literally have to give aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States if we want to overthrow this country.
Foundational issue for Trump that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Why is this something that the U.S. should be involved in? Why are we allied with Israel?
He says because they chant death to America.
They chant death to America. I went to Iran in 2014. I was sitting at a rally. These young guys were chanting death to America. I had a minder. I said, what are they saying? They're saying death to America. They finished the chant, and two young men came over and said, are you American? I said, yes. We want to welcome you to our country. We love American culture and love American movies. They wanted to talk about all these things. Iran is the most Western nation in the whole Middle East. We have much
Are you
more in
fucking
common with them
serious?
than a lot of countries that we do have alliances with. Foundational.
That's fucking Jake Tapper. Just sitting there. Is that Jake Tapper?
No, it's not Jake Tapper.
Oh, okay. Whoever the fuck that is.
Richard Stengel.
Richard
A
Stengel?
political analyst.
Okay, yeah. This motherfucker saying, yeah, they're the most Western civilization in all of the Muslim countries. We should be nice to them.
They were chanting death to America. Then they said, are you American? Yeah. Oh, we love America.
Come on, that's giving aid and comfort. That's giving aid and comfort. I'm sorry. But then again, can you say that they took an oath? I don't know who the hell that is, but
No, he was a political. This one's a ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Jim Hines, says he learned about the strike via social media.
Congressman, thanks very much for being here. As a member of the Gang of Eight, you are, of course, one of them. You typically
What up,
get a
Just
briefing
Rhonda?
before a significant U.S. military
What up, Just Rhonda?
engagement. You and your
What up,
Democratic
Marlene?
colleagues were not, as we understand it, while your Republican colleagues were. Can you explain when and how you learned about this?
Yeah, look, I learned about this strike last night on Twitter, which, as you point out, is an uncomfortable thing for the ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, particularly given the fact that the whole premise here is that something changed, right? That, Prime Minister Netanyahu made reference to new intelligence. There was some mention of it this morning.
Netanyahu.
You might think that for something this consequential, we would be informed of any change in intelligence. And by the way, I mean, let's not lose sight of the fact that that an offensive attack against a foreign nation is something that the Constitution reserves to the Congress of the United States. So bad enough that we weren't informed, but unconstitutional that we didn't have the opportunity to debate and speak as the representatives of the people on what is one of the more consequential foreign policy things that this country has done in a long time.
wait. So this motherfucker says just because they didn't have a vote, he shouldn't have dropped bombs.
If you're posting impeach Trump now because of the strike in Iran, can you please show me where you were when former President Obama ordered these hundreds of strikes with no approval from Congress? 2011, Libya.
Yeah.
March 2011, Obama ordered U.S. strikes in Libya under UN mandate without congressional authorization. He avoided labeling it hostilities to circumvent the war resolution 60-day limit. And even after 60 days, continued without asking congressional renewal authority. Drone campaigns in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia from 2009 to 2016. These targeted strikes operations occurred entirely outside active war zones and didn't involve formal AUMF approval. There were 473 confirmed strikes from 2009 to 2015, plus 53 in 2016, totaling 526 outside war zone strikes. More broadly, estimated covered 563 total strikes overseas from 2009 to 2016. 3. Airstrikes against ISIS in Syria, 2014 to 2016. Obama initiated more than 100 unilateral bombing raids in Iraq and Syria before seeking congressional backing. In 2013, after vetoing strikes in response to chemical attacks in Syria, he utterly won authorization, but only after publicly distancing himself.
Dude, I remember this. I can't remember where it was from, but they did a look at Obama. This motherfucker comes into office 9 months later, gets a Nobel Peace Prize, and then after that Peace Prize, drops enough bombs in his entire presidency to equate to one every 20 fucking minutes of his 8-year fucking run. Yeah, but where are you on that shit, guys? Go to another clip here. What is this one?
Let's see, hold on. We got that one already did. Hold on.
Zorhan. Let's do Zorhan.
I was gonna do Ratchet.
Oh god. Okay, let's do her first then.
And we are living in this time in which there is someone who is occupying the White House who does not care about any rules, any norms, any laws, nor the Constitution, and we cannot be a civilized country if there is no law and order. So I know they may claim we law and order, blah, blah, blah. So go get the undocumented people and let's try to ship them out. Let me tell you something. They are not the people that are putting us in harm's way. It is him and his administration that is putting us in harm's way. I am telling you right now that I legitimately have had no intel whatsoever. Zero intel as a sitting member of Congress, regardless of how you feel about me, regardless of my party affiliation. No one has consulted specifically with me or anybody in my office to give us any information.
Yeah. By the way,
good.
That is 1:06 of a 22-minute rant she went on. She went on a 22-minute rant
because this bitch wasn't specifically talked to about what was going on, what was going to happen. It's unconstitutional because she wasn't specifically what?
I want to do this one first.
I think it's 8.
Because this one says MSNBC is even impressed by Operation Midnight Hammer. The level of secrecy is mind-blowing. MSNBC was just like,
oh,
they
glow,
pulled this off?
motherfucker.
Let your soul glow.
That just under 30 minutes here.
Well, one, it went longer than I anticipated. But there are 4 things that jumped out at me. One, the level of secrecy of this mission. The fact that you had planes that flew from the continental United States. From Missouri and flew for, I think it's 18 hours with multiple refueling in the air. The second thing.
All of them can.
What jumped out to me was just the execution of this massive plan involving the U.S. military, seemingly in multiple theaters. You know, this decoy you were talking about went to the Pacific to take away from what was happening the other way. The other thing that jumped out at me was that when the chairman of the Joint Chiefs said no Iranian planes flew and no shots were fired at any of the U.S. military jets, all of that to me is just from what they're telling us is rather impressive. And I say we're going to. Are we going to the Steph Twitty, or are we going to the reporter? Oh, we're going to all of you. Let's bring into the conversation retired Lieutenant General Steph Twitty, former Deputy Commander of United States European Command and NBC News military analyst. Chris Marr, former Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs. NBC News National
It's the
Security...
Black Davy doppelganger.
They don't say much. Well, they get into it, but there's not much. But yeah. Even MSNBC was like, how the fuck did they pull that shit off?
I'm telling you. That Telegram, or not Telegram, whatever the fuck. WhatsApp messaging or whatever the fuck that was. Whatever they were fucking doing. It was to get the spies out, to get the leakers out. They found them. Not the ones who were giving out the information to us. The ones who were actually leaking the information to them. There's no other way you can sit there and, like, at no point in time did anybody see this coming?
Mine is much bigger than yours, and mine works. Let's go to Adam shit.
Oh God, make this full screen.
Against Iran last night. He says that they have been successful. Do you see any upside, any positive news for the security of the world in learning of the success of these strikes?
First of all, Casey, I want to express my gratitude that the pilots are all out safely and acknowledge the skill, the bravery, and the professionalism of all the military forces that were engaged in this military operation. But it's not an operation that should have ever been authorized by the president in the absence of intelligence showing that Iran had made the decision to break out and build a bomb. The intelligence I've seen, and it's been limited, indicates that Iran had certainly enriched uranium but had not made the decision to build a bomb or pursue the mechanism of a bomb. And in the absence of that, this is not a strike that should have been ordered. In watching Hegseth during that press conference this morning,
Technically, he's not wrong, but it was Gabbard who was saying the intelligence community is saying, no, they're not building a bomb. So then why do they have an abundance of material that they would ever need for nuclear power to power their entire country? Yeah, they did have the materials. The evidence was there. That was moved out from the whole weapons of mass destruction shit with, what was it, Operation Iraqi Freedom or some shit?
Mm-hmm.
They moved that out. I don't remember exactly what happened with that because I was really young at that point, but they moved all that shit out because we announced we were going in on this day at this time, 3 months in advance. They got all that shit out of there. Maybe this is where it went, but again, this still kind of looks like they got that shit out of there too. I don't know, man.
we saw a lot of arrogance from the defense secretary. And as wars in the Middle East have demonstrated, arrogance is a deadly commodity. We simply don't know what is going to occur now, whether Iran will retaliate, whether Iran was able to evacuate some of the enriched material from Fordo. There were commercial satellite images of trucks lined up at Fordo and leaving Fordo in the days preceding the strike. So a lot of questions, including the risk to American service members. In terms of, is there anything positive to come out of it? Yes. I mean, the destruction of these facilities is a positive in the sense that it will set back Iran's program. And look, this is a nefarious regime that is the preeminent state sponsor of terror. It should have never been pursuing a nuclear program. But it is very possible, and I think we have to anticipate, Iran now kicks out any inspectors. It leaves the non-proliferation treaty. And if it wasn't in a sprint for a bomb, it is now going to engage in a sprint for the bomb. So a lot of uncertainty.
Pause. I want to say this before you kind of did that. You were going to make a comment. Hold that thought. Stephen O makes a point. So they wanted to make weapons grade uranium to sell. And here it is. I guess they weren't making weapons, but making a lot of your enriched uranium. Okay, dirty bombs in the hands of terrorists? If they weren't going to sell it, what were you trying to use that for? Were you trying to strap nuclear bombs to somebody's fucking chest? Nuclear dirty bombs to somebody's chest and Allah Akbar yourself again? So, what were we talking about here? What was the purpose of that in the first damn place? To enrich more uranium than you would ever need for nuclear power to power your entire country. Go ahead.
Finally, this was not constitutional, was not lawful in the absence of a declaration by Congress. And so the administration should have come to Congress. We will have a vote on a war powers resolution. But there's a reason to bring this to Congress, and it is you want the Congress bought in. You want the American people bought in on an action this substantial that could lead to a major outbreak of war.
You know something?
So, just to put a finer point on it,
One
do
more
you think the world
hold on.
is less safe this morning than it was yesterday?
Why'd you got to cut out at that? But
that's where it ends.
Dude, you remember those little bop 'em things you would get with that? They had that bag of sand at the very bottom, and you filled it up with there, and you'd punch it, and it'd go down and come back up.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does that look like Schiff? Everybody, I don't think we need to call him Pencil Neck anything. I think we just need to give him the bop 'em rocker. What were they actually fucking called? Does anybody know? I got a lot of them when I was a kid because I just bashed the fuck out of them and break them. Let's go to Davy's screen. He's looking for it right now. Oh, we're already there on your screen. Yeah. No, not those things. I'm talking about they were just like, polyurethane plastic kind of rubbery type things. Hold on.
I don't know, but I think that's what he looks like.
Pop them blow up bags. Yeah.
The clown. Oh, like the clown ones they used to have.
Yeah, like this shit right here. They had that bag of sand down there at the bottom.
Yeah.
You just blow it up and somebody just hits it to knock it over and it comes right back up again. He looks like that shit. Not the Avengers one, but look at this. Let's go back to the Schiff one real quick.
Oh, that was it. It was done.
I know, but just go back to him.
I got rid of it.
Oh, you little dick.
I got rid of it. It was done.
Look, he can't even. All right, fuck it. I'll just bring up a picture then. Fuck it.
I'll be right back.
Images. My screen. See? He looks like one of those bags. You just pop them, and they just rock back and forth. It's almost a straight down from the side of his head. His neck does get a little bit small, but it's almost straight down to his shoulders now. His neck has gotten bigger. I have noticed that. He's been working his neck out, I guarantee you. But this motherfucker's like straight the fuck down now. And he just looks like one of them rocking bags. But anyway. All right. While he's gone, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the Iranian foreign minister and see what he says about what's going on right now. I don't know if we've wiped our ass or if we've created a monster yet. But let's see.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad to be with you this morning. Actually, we invited you yesterday for a briefing on the latest developments on the ground and, of course, on diplomatic process. Because I came here from Geneva, where we had our first ministerial meeting of Iran E3, and then I had here yesterday lots of useful, important meetings with the foreign ministers of our region, and we discussed about different initiatives and ideas existed for a peaceful settlement of this question. But as all of you know, we suddenly faced with the aggression by American forces to our nuclear facilities. The Islamic Republic of Iran condemns in the strongest terms the United States' brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act.
Here you go, Stephen O. I got you.
He keeps kicking me in the dick. Why? Why does he keep kicking me in the dick?
There you go.
Of aggression. The U.S. military attack on the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state carried out with genocidal Israeli regime, carried out in collusion with the genocidal Israeli regime, has once again revealed the extent of the United States' hostility towards the peace-seeking.
Hold up, we gotta show your screen real quick. Feed it in, Davey.
So it says new video: B-2 bomber landed back at Whitman Air Force Base today at Noster, Missouri, after about a 36-hour flight to strike targets in Iran. 7 B-2s took off from Whitman just after 12 a.m. on Saturday. The first bomber landed back just before 12 p.m. on Sunday.
Could you imagine shitting yourself and having to sit next to your pilot with shit in your pants?
No, they have.
It's like a vacuum suit kind of.
No. They have a. I was watching a little thing on it. They have a bathroom. They have sleeping quarters.
In there.
Yeah. They have like a microwave and everything like that. It's set for you to be out for a while.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's badass.
It is.
Look at that motherfucker, though.
Dude. Could you imagine knowing what you just did? And you just back home. 36 hours. Yeah, dude. I was like, because they talk about how they do 48-hour missions and shit like that, and how they can go for a long time, and how they have a bathroom, sleeping quarters, like a microwave, a tiny kitchen in that thing. I was like, holy shit.
Let's go back here.
People of Iran, who will never compromise over their independence and sovereignty. The Islamic Republic of Iran continue to defend Iran's
36
territory,
hours,
sovereignty, security, and people by all means necessary against not just U.S. military aggression, but also the reckless and unlawful actions of the Israeli regime. While President Trump was elected on a platform of putting an end to America's costly involvement of forever wars in our part of the world, he has betrayed not only Iran by abusing our commitment to diplomacy, but also deceived his own voters by submitting to the wishes of a wanted war criminal who has grown accustomed to exploiting the lives and wealth of American citizens to further the Israeli regime's objectives. The U.S. act of aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities constitutes not only a flagrant breach of the UN Charter, especially the prohibition of the use of force under Article 2, Paragraph 4, and the obligation to respect a state's territorial integrity and sovereignty, but also a violation of UN Security Council Resolution 2231. It cannot be emphasized enough how much of a devastating blow that the US, a permanent member of the Security Council, has dealt to the global non-proliferation regime. The Islamic Republic of Iran reminds the United Nations, the Security Council, the UN Secretary General, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and other relevant international bodies of their duty and responsibility to take urgent and decisive action in response to this breach of international law. Silence in the face of such blatant aggression will plunge the world into an unprecedented level of danger and chaos.
So because you didn't get the ability to create whatever the fuck you were creating, stopping you from doing that is gonna lead to all-out war?
Humanity has come too far as a species to allow a lawless bully to take us back to the law of the jungle. The Islamic Republic of Iran calls on the Security Council to convene an emergency session to unequivocally...
Hold up, Davey. We're on your screen again here. Set it up. What you got?
From Laura Loomer, anti-Trump pro-Iran protesters are currently outside of the White House chanting "Hands off Iran" and waving Iranian flags and socialist signs. The protest was organized by groups associated with George Soros and the Muslim Brotherhood. Imagine being a Trump supporter and repeating the less anti-Trump pro-Iranian talking points. Traitors and idiots. And they call MAGA a cult and sheep.
I thought that was Hassan Piker for a second.
It probably was.
Your racist war.
Imagine cheering for people who say "Death to America." What do you think? They're just going to come here and take Republicans out?
I would say so myself too, just Rhonda. The only difference is I don't think these people ever took an oath. So that stops that. But yes, I feel that that same kick in the nuts.
They were building a nuclear bomb to take out Americans. Not just fucking MAGA Americans.
Or Israel.
Yeah, and Israelis. But still. They were building bombs to take out Americans and Israelis. It didn't matter if you're rah-rah Iran. They're going to take you out anyway.
Right.
You're not Muslim.
They're not going to sit there right before they shoot you and search your social media to see if you posted an Iranian flag in your bio.
Yeah. Iran is a sovereign state. So is America, you fuckfaces. But you're saying there's no borders.
So is Israel. But I will say this, though. Rhonda, the ones you should be taking that kind of talk to are the ones that actually encourage and organize this shit for them. Because most of these people actually have taken an oath. Not the people on the street, the people behind it all. But let's go back to mine.
Condemn the criminal act of aggression by the United States against Iran and to hold the administration in Washington accountable for its violations of fundamental principles of United Nations Charter and
it's sus as shit, especially with them printed signs up 24 hours, less than 24 hours.
Of the IAEA and its Director
What
General,
up, Neuro?
who through evidence bias in favor of warmongering parties paved the way for the current violence and bloodshed, is now clearer than ever. We call on the IAEA Board of Governors to immediately convene and carry out its legal responsibility in response to the dangerous U.S. attack on Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities.
Super fun fact and off topic, the No Kings organization cut ties with Utah because of the killing that took place in Salt Lake City on June 14th. Ooh. Kind of looks bad on their part, doesn't it, though?
Here's more from D.C.
That plus the fact, on the 4th, we're going to have to go looking again because they got another one coming up.
Yep.
Go ahead, hit it up. Wait. My screen, Davy's screen. Go ahead.
Says, meanwhile, in D.C., here's more. Hands off Iran.
Have only emboldened the regime and harmed and killed ordinary people.
Sanctioned no-fly zone. But why is there a no-fly zone by the U.S. over there? Because Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. And because he was killing his own people. He was killing his own people. That's why we were there. Because of the UN. United Nations sanctioned no-fly zone. That's why we were there. We have veterans. What? We have veterans here. I'm not trying to change your opinion. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to tell you. Understanding of how other people. I do, but when I see stuff like this, that's back. That's back.
That doesn't affect you because you're white. You think everybody else.
You know what? No. That's it. You know what? That is bullshit.
Everybody has their own story.
That's
we all want to be
fucking,
equal.
I'm
you
don't
here
know where I
to
came
make
from.
Sure there is no,
you don't know my background. And look at
we
just
want
all my
everybody
skin.
safe.
Did I privilege because of that?
You're just saying that because you're white.
Tell other people it's okay for us to invade their country, but we have no reason to be over there.
People are Asian, African, Black, Indonesian. Everybody serves.
You know what? You know what? When I went in the Air Force, when I went in the military, race relations in this country were not what they are now. The media and socialist organizations like you guys, the signs that you guys carry, are meaning to divide us. Do you know how well I got along with everybody in my plane, everybody I work with? Things have gotten backwards in the last 25 years. No, I didn't come here to do that. I came here, this is my reaction to what I see and what I hear here. Yeah. So, you know what? Go do some research on the hostages that were held in 79. Look at the Marines that were bombed. There's 240 whatever. But look at both sides.
You're not going to be validated by anything.
I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to turn my back on you guys. I'm not going to do anything more. You guys turn your back and walk away from me. I'm not going to turn my back on you.
Look, they did it. They did it. He did.
May peace be with you. That's all we want. And hope that we don't cross lines and hope. We want everybody to and we hope that all of this. We're being meant. We're being. A lot of us being put on you. So.
Because
There you
you're
go.
white.
Yeah, that's exactly what the dude said. It was kind of hard to keep the level.
Yeah, kind of here. Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, it's because you're white. You think like this, and the dude's like, all right, I'm done with y'all. That's well fucking played. And then they all just turned around and walked away because he's just like, I'm not going to engage anymore. Fuck you. But yeah, back to mine here.
All of which have been under the agency's full safeguards and monitoring. The world must not forget that it was the United States which, in the midst of a process to forge a diplomatic outcome, betrayed diplomacy.
I don't know if it's going to show.
By supporting the genocidal Israeli regime's launch of an illegal war of aggression on the Iranian nation.
Here we go.
Not content with such malign actions, the United States itself has now also opted for a dangerous military operation and aggression against the people of Iran. In doing so, the US administration holds sole and full responsibility for the consequences of its actions, including the Islamic Republic of Iran's right to self-defense under the principles of the United Charter.
The Michigan shooter's a foreigner.
In accordance with the UN Charter and its provisions allowing a legitimate response.
Because they're reporting it?
Go to Davies' screen here. What you got?
They're reporting it as a gunman opened fire during a service. If it was a white guy, you know they would give the name and say that he was white.
Or even white adjacent, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think black people are the ones they're trying to cover for now. So I wouldn't even say that. I don't understand why a black person would do that in the first place. So yeah, this is probably an illegal.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, undocumented. Because they came here legally and just decided, nah, fuck your process. I'm still just gonna stay here and leech off your system. But yes.
Because it's the guy's dead. So they know so they know.
Well, they don't know the past and everything like that just yet. Well, they probably do. Let's just admit they do, because he's on our radar.
Probably. But if he was a white dude, they'd have his ID, they'd have his name out there, and they'd say racist or something. So this has got to be. Yeah.
They say one person was shot in the leg, ran the shooter over with his truck. Goddamn, giving the security guard time to shoot him. So this motherfucker got ran over by a truck. And then fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Why would you attack any kind of, whether it be a mosque, whether it be whatever the fuck, why would you go after a church unless they're doing something really fucked up in the background?
Easy targets. Easy targets. That's why.
But apparently it's just Christians are trying to be mowed down now. In our own street. In our own government. Went after them for it.
Yeah, see here. Insider paper: B-2 bomber pilots had toilet, microwave, and a cooler for snacks on their 37-hour bombing raid.
Good, because there'd be no way I could sit next to you for 36 fucking hours with you shitting your pants. There's no way.
Bro, could you imagine you just eating a granola bar, just hitting the fucking bomber bar? You're eating a Caine bar.
20 seconds. That'd be like me with the countdown of the show. I'm just watching it with my hand on the button. 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah.
Just with a Caine bar in your mouth.
That would be funny. But yeah, let's go back here.
Defense, Iran reserves all options to defend its security interests and people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We will now be taking questions. We'd like to start with the Associated Press.
Motherfucker, you can't pour your own water.
There's so many people there. Look at that.
From the Associated Press.
Distinguished Minister, are the doors for negotiation still open? Can you hear me now?
No, actually, I like the fact that this is being translated by somebody else. This kind of sounds Japanese.
Yeah, she does.
Distinguished Minister, the question is as follows. Is the door for negotiations still open?
Can't hear you. Next question.
No, she was just translating.
Interpreter, please speak.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir? In the English channel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Translate real quick for my colleague. He's asking if there are still room for negotiations moving forward.
No. It's all right now. You can translate. His translate is okay.
Sayın Bakan, Ahmet Gannan من التلفزيون العربي مذاكرة لها kabı açık mı görüyorsunuz? Tahran'la
Is the negotiation door still open? Did you contact Tehran? What kind of damage has been incurred on the nuclear facilities? Is there any intermediary country like Turkey, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar? Are you continuing your such activities of mediation? How do you see the process? Thank you.
Been in touch with Tehran, of course. I still do not have exact information about the level of damages, but I don't think it matters how much damages have been made. Attacking a nuclear facility by itself.
Spencer Pella over there on Rumble's side. Look, I got no problem with personal things, but you got to talk. Don't just drop your shit in there. Talk. Let us know that you understand that you are human.
That's the boy.
Huh?
That's the son.
Oh. Well, never mind. I'll let it slide then.
Is an unforgivable violation of international law and should be condemned. Yesterday, as I said, I had discussion and talks with a number of foreign ministers of the region. Almost all of them are very much concerned and interested to play a role to end this aggression by Israel, of course. They were worried about a possible attack by the United States, but yesterday we were all talking about how to stop the Israeli aggression. Well, of course, the door for diplomacy should be always keep open, but this is not the case right now.
To stop the Israeli aggression for what? Y'all paragliding into a music festival and slaughtering thousands of people that had nothing to do with your bullshit?
My country has been under attack, under aggression, and we have to respond based on our legitimate right of self-defense. And we will do that as long as needed.
All right, Spencer.
We'd now like to take a question from Al Jazeera.
No, it's just for the Rumble side there. Rumble allows links and everything. So, I mean, I got no problem with people promoting shit, promoting their things, promoting other things in here, but at least sit there in the chat for a second and let us know that you are actually paying attention with what is being presented, and we'll give it to you. Just Being Rhonda gifted 5 subscriptions over there on Rumble. We got Spencer Powell coming in. Apparently we got more jumping in. I don't know if anybody's picked up. I haven't gotten any notifications from Rumble about that. I'm gonna have to take a look in the back end. But we still had some open ones that didn't come through from last night too.
Yeah, guess who's happy? Look at my screen.
One. Yeah, let's do it.
Who's fucking happy about it?
So let's do it.
It says John Bolton. Let me say this unequivocally. I think President Trump made the right decision for America to attack Iran's nuclear weapons program. I think we're on the verge of potentially seeing regime change in Iran as part of that. I think this is huge. This is huge change in the Middle East. It was a decision, decisive action. It was the right thing to do. Of course, this guy would say that.
Is Trump's national security advisor from his first term, Ambassador John Bolton. Mr. Ambassador, so grateful to see you.
Just rounded with the 5 gifted memberships on YouTube. Thank you. Welcome. What is the fluff? Albert, the Sentinel, Lulu Ivy, Andrea Alvarez. Welcome.
See you. Thank you for being here. Were you surprised that President Trump took such decisive action?
Well, let me say this unequivocally. I think President Trump made the right decision for America to attack Iran's nuclear weapons program. And I think we're on the verge of potentially seeing regime change in Iran as part of that. I think this is a huge change in the Middle East. It was a decisive action. It was the right thing to do. I thought somebody should do it for a long time, but better late than never.
Is Trump...
Of course. Of course he would. Wow, I'll be right back.
While we're doing that, let's go back to mine here. I will say, though, Bolton thing, goddamn, dude. Like, you're literally, oh, now he's... It's like, you remember during his first term when they were saying that, you know, they were raging out about him and everything like that. And all of a sudden he just started dropping bombs in the, oh, this is the first time he's been presidential. It's the same fucking shit. Whatever. Are we on the right one? Yeah. Okay. This dude looks like he's fucking struggling, though. Already, he looks like he's struggling.
Thank you very much, Minister. So, you say that you need to respond right now, but we know that Iranians are known for their talents in negotiations.
Why does she kind of look like Hillary Clinton?
In diplomacy and trade. What would be the conditions after responding for Iran to come back to a negotiation table, maybe with the U.S. as well? And Turkey has been offering that Ankara can mediate for a trilateral between Turkey, US, and Iran. What would be your response to that? Because right now the US is technically involved in this conflict. Thank you.
Well, I think it is irrelevant to ask Iran to return to diplomacy, because we were in the middle of diplomacy. We were in the middle of talks with the United States when Israelis blew it up. And again, we were in the middle of talks and negotiation with Europeans, happened only 2 days ago in Geneva, when this time Americans decided to blow it up. So we were in diplomacy, but we were attacked militarily. So it was not Iran, but the US who betrayed diplomacy. They betrayed negotiations. When at the middle of negotiations with us, they gave green light to Israelis, if not instructed them to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. I think they have proved that they are not men of diplomacy.
Omni has a good point. So their idea of presidential is a man who has to attack people, whether it was warranted or not. Priorities, am I right? Now these are the same people that were saying it's not presidential to do what you just did.
And they only understand the language of threat and force. And this is very unfortunate. The United States showed that they have no respect to United Nations Charter. They have no respect to international law. They have no respect
What up, Faulkner Media?
to any international law regarding, managing the world and facing challenges of the world. There is no red line that they have not crossed. And the last one, and the most dangerous one, happened only last night, when they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities.
Davey.
Yeah.
We crossed a big red line by making sure that the entrance and exits of a deep underground military base, which is creating nuclear weapons, was sealed up so that they couldn't transport anything in or out. We crossed the red line by doing that.
We crossed the line.
I don't know how much room is left for diplomacy.
Faulkner 951
calculating
was gifted a membership. You got to get
the
that Discord
damages.
thing going on.
And as
For Discord members, you got that whole little thing is pinned at the top there because I changed the little pins. Sorry, but Discord or for Rumble, hop in the Discord because for right now I do unlisted on Discord or unlisted on Rumble for members only because locals, 20-30 minutes at a fucking a stream time I can't do, especially if you're doing one every week. It's not going to be a thing. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to unlist it. I'm going to stream to Rumble, but I'm going to unlist it. And you have to catch the enlist link in the Discord. So y'all got to get in the Discord.
As I said, the damages are not only for our nuclear facilities. The damages are for the United Nations Charter. It was not only Iran's facilities which was bombed, it was also the United Nations Charter. It was also non-proliferation regime and NPT, which was bombed last night by Americans. And it was the rule of law and international law which was bombed. So now we have to see how much room is left for diplomacy, and we will decide.
I'd like to hand over to TRT World.
Mr. Minister, the U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Iran must now make peace, otherwise the future attacks, he says, would be far greater and much easier. So how is Tehran responding to that threats from Washington? Thank you.
I think it's not up to Iran to respond to that. The whole international community should respond of such a clear threat against the United Nations Charter.
Rich phone.
Iran has done nothing wrong. We do not understand why Iran should be attacked for a
all right, just leave it running.
Accusation.
No, I'm
that Iran is
I'm just going back and forth.
It's now more than 20 years that we are trying to prove that our peaceful nuclear program is.
So I have to keep leaving every couple of minutes.
And would remain peaceful. We negotiated for a long time with the so-called P5+1, and we came to a deal which the whole world celebrated as an achievement of diplomacy. And then it was the US who withdrew from that deal and reimposed their sanctions and restarted their threats. Again, we were negotiating with the same administration. Then all of a sudden they decided to attack us, first by Israelis, then by themselves. And now they are threatening us for more attacks. So it's not up to Iran, but it's up to international community to condemn this, to prevent this. Otherwise, there would be nothing left for the international law, for the security at the world level.
What up, redneck?
The Security Council should play its role, should play its responsibility to condemn and prevent.
I don't understand how redneck hasn't been hit with a membership yet.
We will certainly defend our interest. We will certainly defend our territorial integrity, our sovereignty, and our people. And I'm so glad that our people are now fully understand what injustice they are doing against the Iranian people.
I don't know. Maybe it comes in the background. I know Rumble.
With the government, and
I know Rumble is late to populate them. Like it'll just keep popping up in the chat after a while. I know it takes some time for Rumble to populate who got what from where. So I don't know if all the ones from last night were populated because I never have looked at Rumble's back end for that. But yeah.
By the way, for everybody
they have some hanging out there.
Who's wondering, this is zero.
Zero
no
alcohol
in here. So.
Look, let's see, there it is. Renegade was given one. Let's see what I'm talking about? Yeah, they got some hanging out there.
There you go.
Mr. Minister, how do you assess the West's stance on Israel massacres? No one seems to mention Israel's allegedly illegal nuclear weapons. The German Chancellor even said Israel is doing the dirty work for us. So what is your response? Thank you.
Why does she sound deaf?
Well, what should I say?
I don't know.
You said everything.
I don't know what kind of accent that was.
Iran is under attack by a nuclear-armed superpower and a nuclear-armed regime. And Iran, as you know, is a non-nuclear-armed country. That should be certainly condemned. If not, the whole non-proliferation regime would be undermined and would be defeated. Iran is a committed member of NPT. But NPT is not able to protect us.
Omni, let me have my kink, okay?
So why a country like Iran or other countries who are interested to have a peaceful nuclear energy should rely on NPT for their peaceful activities? It is very unfortunate that Israel is doing, as the German Chancellor called, a dirty job. And by the way, they supported that dirty job. It's a shame They know that Israel is doing a dirty job, and they support it, and they give it every right to do it, and they call it defending itself.
Arlene says there's not enough people who actually like the taste of beer for there to be the market for non-alcohol version. Who'd have thunk it? There's a show called Kenny. Hold on. There's a show called Kenny versus Spenny, where they said they had a competition of who could drink the most beer, and they chose one that had a non-alcoholic version. And the dude said to cover up the non-alcoholic shit, he posted duct tape on every single one of them and he used it as a way to say, this is for me to tell, this is for us to say, this is my beer, not yours. Yeah. So he covered up all that shit. Dude, he got motherfucking wasted. The other dude that didn't have the non-alcoholic got wasted. It is a fucked up show. It really is. But y'all should check it out. Kenny versus Spenny.
But it's just it's one of those things where like you feel kind of normal. Like Rich is drinking a beer, like you want to just have a beer. You know what I mean? You want to feel kind of like.
But he can't handle alcohol.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do alcohol anymore. That's one of the reasons why I had my seizure. So that's what I spent the week in the hospital. So like, but it's just one of those things where you kind of feel normal. Where everybody's sitting there, everybody's sitting around drinking and having a good time, and you're sitting there with a water or a
beer flavored water. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like you kind of feel like normal, So that's why I get them. I mean, and this one is actually pretty fucking good. It actually tastes like Michelob Ultra. So they've gotten pretty good with the non-alcoholics. It was funny. I asked for when I first started, when I first wasn't drinking, when I first got sober, I was at a bar and I go, "You got any non-alcoholics?" And the lady literally had to kneel down. It was one of those bottom shelf coolers. Yeah. And she like literally had to reach in the back. She had to go all the way in the back, and she was just like, "I got this Budweiser one," and she was like. Here you go.
No.
I guess nobody asked for it. Nobody really ever asked for it. So I was like, all right, thanks.
Right. You going to have to bring your own or just abstain altogether and just drink soda?
Michael, you're right. On a hot day, a nice cold beer just hits the spot. It does. It just hits the fucking spot. Just because it doesn't have alcohol, it just, you still feel like you're having a nice ice cold beer.
That's true. Let's go back here.
It's really a shame. Pardon?
Marlene, I'm about to change your life then. Get you some milk. Get you some like chocolate syrup. There's some caramel syrup. And a little bit of maple syrup. Mix it together. You can create yourself what would taste like a coffee with chocolate milk.
Dude, I put maple syrup in my coffee. I don't put sugar. I don't put I put a little bit of creamer just to make it light, and I put maple syrup in my coffee. It's fucking delicious.
Dude, there was no way. I was like, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna make mine taste like a coffee, and I was like, no, fuck no, not with this. She fucking did it. Chocolate, caramel, and a little bit of maple syrup, and it actually tasted like a cold coffee.
I think I'm not in a position to.
It's 93 here today.
What we are going to do in response to what Americans did last night.
I mean, you can make it to your own taste, but
talked about the fact that NPT failed to protect Iran from and its peaceful nuclear program, and this is a serious challenge.
How was that peaceful,
Next, we'd
though?
like to take a question from IRIB.
How is it? Well, we're going to keep going, but how is that peaceful?
IRIB, if I can get a question from IRIB.
How the hell do you have more enriched uranium than you'll ever need?
I'm from a Turkic newspaper and also representing Net News Agency. It is indicated that China is supporting Iran.
Dude, why does this dude look like the fat ass clown from Spawn? What was his name? Violator?
Yeah. John
Why does he look like him? Yeah, why does he look like him?
How do you evaluate its deterrence power vis-a-vis USA and Israel? And can we learn your expectations about your relations with the Russian Federation?
Well, there was a problem with the translation, or I think with the device, it doesn't work properly. I understood the last part of your question. Well, I'm going to Moscow.
So how did the translator know? Because
I think he's having a problem with his. I think he's having a problem with his headset.
Yeah, or is it just I don't really want to answer the question because I don't know, or if I did answer that question truthfully, it'd be kind of fucked. But I had problems hearing your question, but
this afternoon, and I have a meeting with President Putin tomorrow morning. Russia is a friend of Iran, and we enjoy a strategic partnership, and we always consult with each other and coordinate our positions. Russia has been a part and the participants of JCPOA, so they have been always a party to nuclear negotiations. And even in the past 2-3 months that we were negotiating with the United States, we always briefed our Russian friends about the latest about any progress or lack of progress in our talks. Well, I will.
Okay, so you've always been in cahoots with Russia about everything that you've been doing.
We'll have serious consultations with the Russian president tomorrow, and we continue to work with each other. Russia is also a permanent member of the Security Council, and we know that they were trying, together with China, to introduce a resolution to the Security Council for the cessation of hostilities. Obviously, now the situation has been changed, and I will have a discussion with them that how it should be proceed.
The final question from IRIB, if we can hand over the microphone to the gentleman right there. Thank you.
خسته نباشید آقای عراقچی. از به خدمتتون که دیروز آقای اردوغان صحبت‌هایی داشتن در رابطه با میانجیگری، فکر می‌کنید نقش ترکیه در این رابطه به چه ترتیب خواهد بود؟
Thank you. Yesterday, President Erdogan mentioned a mediation instrument. Can Turkey handle such a diplomacy or mediation activity?
اردوغان رئیس جمهور محترم ترکیه داشتم. هم ترکیه
I had very productive meetings with the President of the Republic of Turkey yesterday, and I also had contacts with some of the countries of the region. Some of the countries of the region, such as Turkey, are indicating that they could be mediating so that the attacks from Israel could stop. I do believe that I'm going to start some actions and discussions about this to prevent this American aggression. Turkey very definitely has condemned the Israeli attacks, and also the countries of the region have also condemned these attacks. Now all the countries of this region and the Islamic countries are condemning the massacres and the killing of Israel. We as members of the OIC and the foreign ministers, we had a special meeting on the situation in Iran. Turkey was the chair of this session, and in relation to condemning Israeli attacks, a statement was shared to end this attack, and they indicated that they were on our side. The attack last night was a big murder. It was not just an attack against the Iranian people, but also the laws and the provisions of the United Nations were also violated.
Who was murdered?
Nobody.
NPT was
well,
also
none of us.
damaged. Thus, this was a big blow to international security and to peace by America. We believe that the United Nations should see this as a threat. The behavior of America is threatening the world peace, and it is also a serious bottleneck for the international system. And we have important problems and pain in our region because of this.
It was murder.
Important damage. The attack last night showed once again that the Zionist regime of Israel
Y'all see that, right? Look at the caption, Davey.
Showed us once again that the Satanist regime of Israel.
She says Zionist.
Which one's a Zionist again? That they believe they're better than everybody else?
I don't fucking know. I really fucking don't. I don't know. I just know it ain't the sewer Jews, apparently.
The UN
I will never not
statement.
bring that up. Sewer Jews are fucking funny.
Sewer Jews are the ones who don't like Israel. The UN made a statement. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the bombing of Iran nuclear facilities by the United States marks a perilous turn in a region that is already reeling. We now risk descending into a rat hole of retaliation after retaliation.
Hold on, are you unmuted? Yep. Okay, go ahead.
2 days ago, in this very chamber, I made a direct appeal. Give peace a chance. That call was not heeded. Instead, the bombing of Iranian nuclear facilities by the United States marks a perilous turn in a region that is already reeling. From the outset of the crisis, I have repeatedly condemned any military escalation in the Middle East. The people of the region cannot endure another cycle of destruction. And yet, we now risk descending into a rat hole of retaliation after retaliation. To avoid it, diplomacy must prevail. Civilians must be protected. Safe maritime navigation must be guaranteed.
Unless you're talking about civilians that might have been in the area at that time.
Fighting and return to serious, sustained negotiations on the Iran nuclear program. 2 days ago,
I'm still trying to find out who was killed.
Right.
They didn't say that there was nobody. There was no mention of anybody that was killed on either side.
Unless they were in the tunnels, and fuck them. I mean, seriously. In that kind of situation, if we're talking about somebody like Iran getting nuclear weapons, like I said, I'm the reason why you don't want U.S. citizens to have nuclear weapons. Now, put me on that kind of global scale. Probably wouldn't go this psychotic with it, but I want to have the ability if I can.
Boom Shakalaka says no casualties. Yeah, I didn't hear of any casualties. You had nobody.
No,
they said everything was out. They said everything out of that was out of that place. There was no reports of any casualties because they would have said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know, but it sounds like a casus belli for them.
Yeah.
And it kind of is. Not gonna lie. But again, why would you have more enriched uranium than you would ever need to power your country on an atomic level if you weren't at least trying to sell it off? I mean, come the fuck on. If you could produce a lot more than you could ever fucking use, where would the extra go? Oh, that's a good market for that kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zionist is the Islamic supremacist name for Jewish supremacist in the current year. It has had other definitions in the past. Oh, so it's kind of like anti-Semitism. It's just whatever the fuck they want it to be. Great. Cool. Another one of that bullshit term. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Has not actually reached its targets and aims in Iran, and they have been harmed, and they have actually been in a crisis because of the heroic defense of Iran. And vis-a-vis this defense, they have received support from America. And this direct intervention of America is actually to save the Zionist regime, and maybe to save the prime minister specifically of the Zionist regime. This was the reason why America acted this way, and this shows that the White House is under the influence of this individual called Netanyahu, and this is a shame for the all American citizens. We continue to defend our country in a heroic manner. Our armed forces are ready. Our people with high level of self-confidence and with high level of motivation is ready to defend itself. The Iranian people's national honor has been damaged, and to win this back, they will defend themselves. We will never take a step back from our own law, from our honor, from our territory, and from our people.
Artürk.
Mr. Minister, thank you very much for doing this. And I'll come from Habertürk and Bloomberg HD. You said attacks at nuclear facilities are red line, and you are calculating your response. So here is the question. What are the options? Are you going to retaliate at US bases in the region, or are you going to considering to close the Strait of Hormuz? And one more question as well. 2 times while you are at the table of negotiation, Israel and US attacked your soil. So do you still have the same level of trust to Western diplomacy? Thank you.
That Strait of Hormuz is going to hurt.
There are a variety of options available to us, and that's it. We never trusted Western countries when we negotiated them, and there are now even more reasons why we shouldn't trust them at all. Of course, the way for diplomacy should be always remain open, but as I said, we are not in the situation right now to decide.
We're on my screen, Richard.
To engage.
All right. Go ahead.
No, we're on my screen.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Fuck, where is... Oh, I minimized it. That's why it's not on my screen. Shit, my bad, everybody.
in diplomacy once again, and with whom?
I'm a dick.
So let's wait for our response first. And when the aggression is ended, we decide how.
Let's go back with that one, because that's kind of an important point. Back to her question altogether, because I fucked that up.
From Habertürk and Bloomberg HT, you said attacks at nuclear facilities are red line, and you are
Look at my screen real quick.
your response. So here is the question: what are the options? Are you going to retaliate at U.S. bases
No, I just said
in
look
the
at it.
region, or are you going to considering to close the Strait of Hormuz? And one more question as well: 2 times while you are at the table of negotiation, Israel and U.S. attacked your soil. So do you still have the same level of trust to Western diplomacy? Thank you.
All right, before he answers, got Davy's side right quick. Now, for my next act, you got to scroll up a little bit. Well, that's not going to show it without. Here, how about this? There you go. I'll make Democrats defend Iran. It's happening. It's already fucking happening.
Well, I mean, there's a here it goes. There's Matt Van Swal. So let me get this straight. 2 months ago, we had Ukrainian flags everywhere. A month ago, we had Palestinian flags everywhere. A week ago, we had Mexican flags everywhere. Now we have Iranian flags everywhere. What the hell is going on?
I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you.
See? Look. The sewer Jews are with Iran. They don't like Israel's. They don't like Israelis.
Well, I mean, hold up. This just happened. How did they get that banner so fucking fast? How did they get these printed fucking signs so goddamn quickly? This just fucking happened. Unless you're paying thousands of dollars, where's that money coming from for this kind of shit?
Because they can do this shit overnight when you have billions of dollars funded by a certain person,
Or if it was already planned. You could have that shit ready to go, because we've been talking about this U.S. Israel shit with Iran for a minute.
Yeah, print shops are ready. Listen, there are overnight print shops. They've got warehouses.
Yeah,
where
but where's that money coming from, though?
Soros.
I know that, but
the Democrat fucking act blue.
That's why it was under attack. That's why they freaked the fuck out. That's why they were all raging the fuck out about Doge, because all that bullshit that Doge found was just their fucking pocketbook.
Yeah.
It was nothing really major to us. That was just the money that was being funneled. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to play it while you were talking.
Mute it. You're going to sit there and tell me that the people that did not egg this on, the people that did not organize this, the people that did not get all of this happening right here are not committing treason. Most of those people that organized that gave some kind of oath to this country, some way, somehow, some shape or form. They did that, and now they have our own fucking people marching in the streets for them. They are using treason to cover up sedition. I don't know how to make it even more clear. What the fuck, dude?
It's a lawless land, my friend. If you're on one side of it, you're fucked. If you're on the other side of it, you can get away with whatever the fuck you want.
But let's go back to what he was saying.
Yeah.
She was sitting here asking, hey, what are you going to do in response to this? And every time you've tried to come to the table, the U.S. has hit you on your soil. So how do you feel about diplomacy now?
There are a variety of options available to us, and that's it. We never trusted Western countries when we negotiated them, and there are now even more reasons why we shouldn't trust them at all. Of course, the way for diplomacy should be always remain open, but as I said, we are not in the situation right now to decide how to engage in diplomacy once again and with whom. So,
Jennifer with the dono. Senator Alex Jose Padilla is an anchor baby. Pass it on.
Yeah, we got to bring up there how they cried about, oh my God, he should already, you're the president of the Senate. You should know his name. God, that was so fucking pathetic. But
let's wait for our response first. And when the aggression is ended, we decide how to engage in diplomacy once again.
Next, over to NTV.
Mr. Minister, thank you. I would like to ask a quick question. You had many dialogues with Mr. Steve Witkoff, the U.S. representative, during the negotiations.
You're good, Jennifer.
Did
Don't
he
you
call
post
you
that
after
anytime you want.
contact? Who you talked
Right.
with? Did you ever talk with any Western countries or United States? Did they call you? Thank you.
Well, my talks with Mr. Witkoff was indirect through the Omani foreign minister as intermediator, to whom I'm very grateful. And when the talks were stopped because of the US aggression, we are still receiving messages from Americans through different channels, Oman in particular, and there are also others who are passing the messages of the United States to us. And if needed, we respond to those messages through intermediators. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I think we are done.
Yes, we've come to the end of that press briefing. We'd like to thank.
all right. So they're saying that a retaliation attack is not off the table either.
Shit's popping off in New York.
Oh, shit. Let's go to your screen. What's up? Massive anti-war protests in Times Square.
Times Square right now, so many of these signs saying Trump is a war criminal, stop the war in Iran. Lots of money, lots of signs about money that has been spent on war. The organization putting this on is the Answer Coalition. They have said that they are frustrated and angry, and the only way that they think they can show that is to come out in the streets.
These cocksuckers didn't care about fucking $300 billion going to fucking Ukraine. Now they care?
Right.
I want to play some of my conversation with two of the protesters out here earlier today. Take a listen.
I think it's really dangerous because Trump is such a weak idiot. But all he has, the only policy he has for foreign policy in the Middle East is war. And so this is super dangerous.
Pause.
We're out here today because...
Huh?
They're fucking dumb.
Obama funded this. Biden funded this. When his first term, he was like, hey, y'all need to come to the table. Let's talk about this shit. During his second term, he gave him 60 fucking days 60 goddamn days. And they said, no, go fuck yourself. What do you mean?
They have no idea.
Because the people of the United States do not want a war.
There we go. Gabrielle Silva, member, Party for Socialism and Liberation. Yes.
Yeah. See?
Trump, Netanyahu waged a completely unprovoked, illegal attack on Iran that
Right.
the people of this country.
Unprovoked? You mean Hezbollah wasn't just shooting fucking rockets to test Iran's, or not Iran, but Israel's
Iron Dome?
Yeah, that like they weren't doing that off the money that we were giving to Iran? They were digging up their own water fucking pipes for it, dude.
As much as I fucking hate it, Israel's an ally. Unfortunately,
it's an important one.
Unfortunately, there are test dummies. we test our shit on them, okay? All the shit we get that we're trying out, we give to Israel, and if it goes boom, people, the Israelis go boom, not Americans.
Or we do it ourselves and apparently explode you from beneath the earth.
Yeah. But, yeah. Unfortunately, much as I hate it, they're a fucking ally. So we gotta kind of fucking do it.
And it is a mess that we created, so I'm all for cleaning it up. But the question is, have we cleaned it up, or did we create another monster man?
Why is the Albanian flag there? What the fuck?
I don't fucking know.
Carolyn, I get that. I understand that. I just don't like them like starting shit just because they know we'll get involved.
Right.
Because they're like a 5-foot woman arguing with a 6'3" man, and just looking at her and then turning around and going to her boyfriend. You're not going to take care of this,
right?
That's what we are. We're the fucking boyfriend to Israel, and Israel's a 5-foot chick. And she starts arguing with a 6'3" dude, and she looks at her boyfriend and goes, "Hey, you're not gonna take care of this guy. You're gonna let this guy talk to me like this?" Yeah, that's what I don't like.
Jennifer with the one. Wonder how many or how well the NYPD vetted their workforce and just hired illegals too.
Yeah, it's bad.
At least they undocumented. They at least can prove that they were supposed to be here at one point in time.
Hmm.
Tell me how this is not an invasion.
Did I just see a Captain America shield?
Yeah.
What the
My point is, this seems to be a very common occurrence. It does. But I mean, at this point in time, they're being disruptive, but they ain't being violent.
Right now.
Right. Y'all know it's coming. Friday. Not this Friday. Next Friday. That's another round of the No Kings protest.
July 4th. Which is actually a No Kings is a real no kings protest.
Right.
Technically.
But Davey.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on everything here, brother.
Listen, I don't know what was accomplished because apparently everything was taken out weeks ago. All the important shit was taken out weeks ago. Apparently there was nobody there. I don't know what this accomplished.
We slowed down their production.
Yeah. You know, like I said, I don't know, but you don't know what's true and what's not. They can say that they took all this shit out of there, but we don't know. They fucking lie. They'll just lie no matter what. So did we do something significant? We'll find out in the coming weeks.
No, we did something significant. We proved that this bunker buster actually fucking works.
Yeah. But if they moved their shit to another place, let's hope we find out where they moved it and we can take care of that place too. I mean, it was an amazing feat for the fact that they made people look left and they went right. They said, "Hey, we're just going to put these guys in Guam." And then the next thing you know, fucking 6 mops were dropped.
And it's embarrassing that was allowed to happen, though. It's embarrassing that it's just like, it was the whole, the Three Stooges thing where dude would wind up his arm and then poke the other dude in the eyes with the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that shit. And it's embarrassing to that country that it actually fucking worked. I'm sorry. You should have seen something like that coming. I'd have thought the same damn thing myself, too. Hey, you only got 2 going over there? Okay, so there's something else out there.
Jennifer the Dono, this week is going to be intense. Are you ready for it? Yeah. I'm going to be carrying. I haven't carried in a while. But I'm going to be carrying again because I am 1,000% sure that there are going to be sleeper cells that are going to wake up.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we saw interviews with all those middle-aged men from the Middle East without their families coming through the border throughout the whole last administration. So be careful out there, people. If you can carry, make sure you're carrying, because look what just happened at this fucking church in Michigan.
Right.
People are things are about to get out of hand. I mean, more than usual. I don't know. I don't know. I want to say probably. I think things are going to start to get a little bit more out of hand right now than they have in a while. So buckle up, buttercups, because No King's Day 2.0 is coming on July 4th weekend.
Right.
So it's going to be a 3-day weekend for most people. If you know your Jennifer with the Dono, if you know of businesses that have foreign people working, look to see if they suddenly don't open shop or go on a quick vacation.
Fair enough point. Look, yeah, we will be back tomorrow. We got to trace down this little Wisconsin, this church thing. What was the other thing? What was the other thing we had to do? We were going to do, the Alex Padilla being an anchor baby and crying all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's hit that up. But, ladies and gentlemen, we will see y'all tomorrow for an actual regularly scheduled show. It was great to actually come on here early. I got some shit to do. Davey's got to watch a baby. We got a life to take care of. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you again.
Comes a president. We can't start our own little business here.
That's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here I'm screaming. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking on me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.